Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 Pokemon that I believe could feature in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I know that I'm not the first person to make a list like this, but this list is going to be based purely on my own opinion, so that's that. The Pokemon on this list are going to be judged by 2 factors: how much I personally like the concept of said Pokemon, and by how likely I think they are to actually make an in-game appearance. Again, the Pokemon that I'm going to be talking about are merely concepts, ideas that I think could work really well in the game. So, for number 5, we have a group of new Pokemon concepts. I can't really explain them in detail because they are merely concepts, but let's roll with it. It's been speculated that the new games are going to take place in Hawaii, so I can think of a bunch of exotic animals that would fit right in with such a setting. And yes, while I know that not all the animals I'm going to mention can even be found in Hawaii, I still think that they're cool ideas. One of the most obvious would definitely be a dolphin. The screenshots that we've seen for Pokemon Sun and Moon so far seem to imply that it's going to be based in a tropical area, perhaps even near water, so this isn't too ambitious. Other animals that we are yet to see Pokemon equivalents to would be lemurs and koalas. And the animal that I would most like to see receive a Pokemon equivalent would be the peacock. Even just by looking at fan art on Google Images, you can see that there are a lot of amazing concepts out there. I can only really imagine how great an official design would look. Number 4, Kangaskhan's Baby. Something that has left Pokemon fans baffled for a very long time would be that the baby in Kangaskhan's pouch has never been made into a Pokemon in its own right. I mean, come on, it even hatches with a baby in its pouch. How does that even make sense? However, with Generation 6 and the introduction of X and Y, we got to see a lot more of this baby. I personally would love to see this made into an individual Pokemon and maybe even add a male counterpart to Kangaskhan. The baby doesn't even have an overly feminine vibe, so this could happen. The fact that this hasn't occurred yet is pretty confusing, but I think it's something that's going to happen eventually. Number 3, a new Pikachu clone. Okay, so now we're getting into the Pokemon that are definitely the most likely to make an in-game appearance. And this is arguably the strongest point on the list. It's just ranked a little bit lower purely because it's not what I'm the most excited for. Pokemon have introduced what are essentially clones to Pikachu with every new generation, and I highly doubt that Pokemon Sun and Moon will be any different at all. Each new Pikachu lookalike tends to introduce something new to represent the respective region. An example of this would be Dedenne having that extra fairy type, which was a feature introduced in Generation 6, or Pichu being a baby Pokemon in Gold and Silver to represent the newer feature of breeding. Whatever the new Pikachu clone happens to be, I'm sure that it will add something new and interesting to the game, so I look forward to seeing what it will be like. Number 2, a Fire-type starter from the Chinese Zodiac. A pattern that Pokemon fans have noticed would be that all of the current Fire-type starters are based on animals that are featured in the Chinese Zodiac. Charmander is the dragon, Cyndaquil is the rat, Torchic is the rooster, Chimchar is the monkey, Tepig the pig, and Fennekin the dog. So that leaves us with 6 animals to choose from: the tiger, ox, rabbit, snake, horse, and sheep. There's a decent chance that our next Fire-type starter will be based on one of these 6 animals. If you were to ask me which animals would be most likely, I would say the tiger or the rabbit. They seem to be the animals out of the 6 remaining that I think would look best as inspirations for Fire-type starters. In any case, I'm very excited to see what new starter Pokemon Sun and Moon may have to offer. And number 1 is a new evolution. This holds the number 1 spot both because it's what I want to see the most, and I think it's also extremely likely to happen. It's a known fact that Eevee and its evolutions are extremely popular. New evolutions tend to represent new features for their respective games. Umbreon and Espeon represent the day and night cycle, Leafeon and Glaceon represent being able to evolve Pokemon based on your in-game location, and Sylveon represents the new fairy type. So there's a good chance that Sun and Moon's possible evolution would also represent new features. I'm not saying that there's going to be a new type or anything, but I would definitely expect it to represent new features. I think that a dragon type evolution would be pretty cool because it would serve as a counterpart to Sylveon. As for the type I would want most though, it would definitely have to be the bug type. Well, those were the top 5 Pokemon that I believe are the most likely to appear in Pokemon Sun and Moon. In any case, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!